if you're done, can I see put your hands up, please? You guys are done. I'm gonna come around and collect them real quick. That's fine. That's fine. Guys, show of hands again. Who's done? You guys both done? Thank you.
Yeah.
Just one. Okay, we pass these out to everybody? Make sure everyone gets one, okay? Cole, you done? Done? Thank you. I know. Because then we're gonna do it. Yeah.
You're welcome.
You see what you guys do.
Yeah.
Yes. You good? No. Alright guys, everybody good? Okay guys, hey, based off that quiz, what do you guys think we're gonna learn about today? Animals, good, yeah. Poultry animals. Yep, there you go. He sees the note title right there, that's good. Thank you. Guys, hey, listen up. Hey, today's notes are fun, okay? It's all about animals, animal traits. We're going to talk a lot about different species, how they survive, why they can survive, different things they do to the environment, all that good stuff. It's going to be really fun, okay? So guys, everybody have their notes? Because we're gonna fill these as we go along, just like we always do. We all good? Okay. So guys, adaptation to natural selection. That's what we're learning about today. Okay, here we go. So guys, before we even learn about what adaptations are or what natural selection is, I think it's good to start with who started all this and who studied all this for a majority of their life. And the main guy here we're going to learn about is Charles Darwin. He's one of the most famous scientists. You guys are definitely going to learn about him as you get older. But he's the one that kind of, everything we learn about today, he's the one who kind of fathered this in, okay? So Charles Darwin, he was an English naturalist and a geologist. Those two dates there is the date he was born, the date he passed. Okay, he was known for his contributions to evolution by natural selection. So does anybody know what evolution is? Does anybody have an idea? What does evolution sound like?
Evolve.
Evolve, right. So what's that mean? Evolution is a study of what?
Evolve.
What evolving? But animals, right? Yeah, so guys, so evolution is a study of a species of organisms and how they've evolved through thousands and thousands of years, okay? That's what Charles Darwin did. He really liked that stuff. He studied it, dedicated most of his life to it, published a lot of different research studies on this type of stuff. And he was really famous for his studies on the Galapagos Islands, okay? And we're gonna learn about a couple different species today that come from the Galapagos Islands that all had these various different traits and adaptations that made Charles Darwin famous and also helped a lot of scientists study how organisms evolve, how they survive, how they reproduce, all that type of stuff, okay? So does everybody have this written down?
Almost, yes.
Okay, that's all right. Does everybody see my coffee?
I'm at a drink there.
Where? Oh. Hey, you good? Still ready? Okay. That's all right. Take about 30 more seconds here.
Are we just on up here?
Yes, so guys, we're at the very top right now where it says Charles Darwin slide 2. Okay, so the first bullet point is English naturalist and geologist. Okay. All right, guys, here we go. Natural selection. Okay, guys, natural selection, pretty much what we're talking about here is that organisms are better suited for their environment and are more likely to survive and reproduce based on that environment, okay? So organisms evolve and adapt to the environment they are living in, okay? An example I used with first period was, where do we find polar bears? In the Arctic, right? We don't find them in Africa, right?
No.
Okay, because polar bears aren't built to survive in Africa, they're built to survive in the Arctic. Does anybody know why?
Because they're supposed to be cool.
Hands up, hands up, hands up, yeah?
Because of how much fur they have.
Okay, fur. You have something to add to that?
And because there's different food in Africa than there is in the Arctic.
Yeah, so maybe they don't eat the same things that predators in Africa would eat. But guys, yeah, so the main takeaway here is that polar bears have a lot of fat, which in science we call blubber. They also have fur, really thick coats of fur to help them stay warm in the winter, which allows them to go out on these long hunts, all that good stuff, okay? What else am I thinking of? Same thing with, who has an example, another example? Wants to share, yeah?
Whale and a giraffe.
Okay, so a giraffe you only find where?
In the Africa.
Okay, very good, because it's built to survive there, okay? That's a good one, that's a really good one. So like they'll be found in warmer waters like rivers, especially like in Africa, things like that. So guys, so favorable traits are passed to future generations and unfavorable traits are not. Who got this right on the quiz? Does anybody remember this little quiz?
No.
Does that make sense, guys? So favorable traits. Guys, what's a favorable trait? Does anybody know what a favorable trait is? Hey guys, so a favorable trait is a trait that helps the animal survive or helps the animal reproduce, move, okay? So it's positive traits that help the animal live. That's pretty much what we're saying is passed down to their offspring, okay? And unfavorable traits are not passed down. For a lot of reasons there. So like an organism shouldn't have a trait if it doesn't help it do anything, right? So eventually through generation by generation, that organism will just get rid of that trait while it keeps the favorable ones. Okay? We all got that?
Yes.
Okay. So variation, so different characteristics between organisms in a certain species. Okay, a really famous example here is that the scientist who is, what's the scientist's name again that we're about to talk about? Charles Darwin, right. So Charles Darwin on the Galapagos Islands, we're going to talk about in a couple minutes, studied a species of birds called finches, and finches have evolved and have different beak shapes and different beak lengths, all that good stuff based on how they need to survive, okay? Does that make sense? So a variation is birds having those different beaks for different purposes, okay? We all got that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, guys, so the Galapagos Islands. Here we're going to talk about, more specifically, some of the species that made Charles Darwin famous and made this whole thing come about. So the first one we're talking about is the Galapagos tortoise, okay? So the Galapagos Islands, they have a lot of low shrubbery, which, guys, what shrubbery? Who knows? What was that? No, no, not really. Yeah. Flubber, right. Guys, so do you have an answer? Like, guys, when someone says shrubs and shrubbery, what is that? What is that?
Grass.
Okay, yeah, good. So we're getting there. So glass. So glass. So guys, so shrubbery is going to be like low plants, like vegetation that's close to the ground, like not these huge trees. Okay, that's not what we're talking about here. So guys, so this Galapagos tortoise on islands with low shrubbery, tortoises had short legs and short necks. Okay, on islands with taller vegetation. So now maybe we're getting into plants of about my height and a little bit smaller than me. Tortoises had developed long legs and longer necks to reach the food. Okay, does that make sense? Does everybody understand where we're going with here? How these organisms are evolving and adapting? So this tortoise, eventually over thousands and thousands of years, developed longer legs, a longer neck, to be able to reach those taller trees, to be able to eat and survive, okay? Hey guys, so the second one here is the marine iguana. How many of you guys have seen iguanas before? You guys seen them? Yeah.
Yeah.
So guys, so the marine iguana, so this specific species of iguana, it's only found on the Galapagos Islands, and some of the traits that they have are, they have longer claws to grip rocks, Do you guys know why that's beneficial? Okay, yeah, good. Climbing's a good one. Pretty much to be mobile, to climb around rocks, trees, things like that, so they can be able to get around. Another trait they have, dark skin for camouflage. Why is this important? It's good, or to hunt too, right? So guys, everybody hear that? So guys, usually when we talk about camouflage with animals, it's always going to be either to stay hidden so they can hunt, or to hide from predators, okay? Another trait we have here, they have sharp teeth for scraping algae off rocks. And the last one, I think is one of the coolest ones, they have a really strong tail that helps them swim through the water, helps them propel, get through the water efficiently. Yep, no. And guys, the third species we're going to talk about here is the finches. Now this is pretty much the most famous species that Darwin talked about and studied. Remember guys, the finches, we're going to talk about how they have short beaks compared to long beaks, how the different shapes of the beaks affect how they live. So an example we have here is short, broad beaks are used for crushing seeds, okay? While long, sharp, narrow beaks are used for probing for insects, okay? Guys, everybody understand this though? How we're talking about different species have different variations, okay, and how it helps them survive? Yeah. Yeah. Everybody have these filled out too, by the way? Moving on here. Hey guys, so adaptations. So guys, who knows what an adaptation is before we talk about it? Does anybody have a guess? Gavin? Okay, good. Yes, an adaptation can be a way an organism adapts to its environment. This could be by physical adaptation, a behavior adaptation. Do you have any? Okay, that's all right. Hey Cole, we'll get it at the end. How about that? What time? Well, because we have to get a lot done today, and we have to do another thing again. So we'll get it at the end. Okay, so adaptation, the physical feature or behavior that helps an organism get food, protect itself, move, or reproduce. Guys, so an organism getting food, an organism protecting itself, reproducing, what is this all doing? Helping the organism what? Stay alive, very good. Helping the organism survive, okay? Everybody understand that?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, so traits such as beak shape and neck length are called physical features because they are physically a part of that organism, they are physically visible, okay? So organisms with favorable adaptations have a better chance of getting the resources they need. Remember we just talked about favorable versus unfavorable? Well, organisms are always trying to evolve and adapt these favorable traits that they need to survive, okay? We don't like unfavorable traits, we like favorable traits. Everybody have this written down?
Mr. Kidd, please call 3126. Mr. Kidd, please call 3126.
So guys, here, the next